Here on The Colour of Country Life, good to have with us again Anne Webster, the Shadow Assistant Minister for Regional Development. How are you, Anne?
I am very good. How are you this fine Monday?
Good, thank you, and always great to see the talk about population growth in the regions. There was a big summit from the Regional Australia Institute. Was in Canberra, I think. Were you there for that summit?
I wasn't invited to the summit, which is kind of interesting in itself. However, I was at the dinner that night, and yes, I heard about it, and I certainly have read the reports and the speeches. So very interesting, very interesting. So 2032, we're aiming for 11 million people in the regions, which is up by 500,000 from what is expected at 10.5 million. How that's going to happen, of course, is going to be very interesting. I mean, it's based on some pretty fundamental things that we are all aware of. Are there jobs available? Well, yes, we can confirm that. How is the livability? Have we got housing that is appropriate? No, we definitely don't. Will people continue to move from cities out into the country? Well, I hope so. I really do. And then, of course, it is on the basis of sustainability, health, education, all of those things that we rely on, including infrastructure such as rail and other forms of transport. So, yeah, it's a big task and certainly concerns me in the sense that we already had a huge investment in regional acceleration, which this Labor government has knocked off 400 million already. So, concerning, really.
Now, there's a few great points you raised there. First of all, that last one you just mentioned about a cut on the regional side of the budget. What are we looking likely we're going to see in the October budget? I know your Nationals colleagues have been very concerned that regional Australia seems to be the first one to get the chop whenever there's a search for savings.
I know, and it is something that we discuss frequently and we fight for. I met with Krista McBain, the Regional Development Minister, last week and urged her to ensure that the funding is not cut from regional programs. So I was pleased that she met with me, but by no means am I comforted by the conversation that we had.
Now, when it comes to regional Australia, though, and I guess this comes down to where money is spent and then it's spruiked as being spent in regional Australia, is it by definition anything outside of the capital cities, or does the Sunshine Coast count as regional Australia?
I believe so. It's the same, last week I think we talked about the distribution priority areas expanding to include places like Sunshine Coast, Frankston, Elizabeth, Parramatta in Sydney for doctors on bonded graduation scholarships that they can go to those places as opposed to be in the regions, the genuine regions, what I would call the regions.
Yeah, that's the concern I've got. Is you look at that 500,000 extra in this population target by 2032. Well and good to have a target. The agriculture industry's, smashing their target. But is that just going to mean more people, migrating to the Sunshine Coast and northern New South Wales?
Well, potentially. I mean, they're going to have fast rail up there. This is the point. If investment only occurs in those areas in the northern section of Australia and not in the regions such as Mallee, I am really concerned. Recently I was over in Parks, New South Wales as part of my portfolio and visiting with the local MP and some projects that are going on there, that at this point in time we have not a lot of hope will be actually funded. We are the first to be cut and Labor largely, while Minister Catherine King, sits in Ballarat. For those of us north of Ballarat, we scarcely call that regional.
Well, when you look at, you mentioned the high-speed rail, there's been a lot spruiked about how much this is going to deliver for the regions, but it's really seeming only going to deliver benefits to regional centres between Melbourne and Brisbane. Anything further west of that doesn't look like it's going to get a look in.
No, that's right. And if we really want the population to spread and to come out to bring a new balance, if you like, from the city-centric approach that has largely been promoted over a long time, then, there needs to be serious investment out in our region.
And when it comes to investment in the regions, I noticed just recently something talked about when it comes to hosting seasonal workers. I know the former coalition government was looking to have a pathway for those workers to actually become Australian citizens. It looks like there's $1 million being committed by the state government in Victoria for worker accommodation. Is that a pathway to future population growth in somewhere like Mildura?
Well, only if the visas match it. And you're right. And I'm really pleased that David Littleproud has come out and said that he has got a confirmation from the new Ag Minister that the Ag visa, the commitment that we made to Vietnam and Vietnam made to Australia, will hold, and it will be a pathway to permanency. So that is a very, very positive sign. But, we need it expanded beyond that. So accommodation is a key issue, no question. But, as you know, healthcare is also a key issue, and ensuring that our hospitals are up to what they need to be developed to manage the population growth and even the population that we have right now is critical.
And I notice in the state election campaign in Victoria leading up to the November election, a commitment for, is it $700 million from the opposition to invest in a hospital in Mildura if they're successful?
Yeah, $750 million by the coalition, nothing by the Labor government. I think that needs to be underscored. The coalition has made a determination, should they win the election, that they will be pulling back on some of the infrastructure spend in Melbourne, which is predominantly where all the money that is debt, let's face it, has been going. And they will be focusing on regional and outer metropolitan hospitals. And, I'm really, really pleased to see that.
Now, just lastly, you just mentioned before about the Ag visa. We had some commentary at a recent farming conference that it was dead, but it's not dead. It's still alive, but limited in terms of where we can take them from. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a relatively new announcement that David Littleproud has made, and I think he pushed for the Ag visa to be continued. I think the form of that is still to be really clearly clarified, but at least Vietnam is going ahead, and the pathway to permanency for Vietnamese is also going ahead. Look, one of my concerns, Ricky, has been that the Labor government is focusing on immigration to skilled migration. What that means is that we'll be bringing in engineers, we'll be bringing in cyber experts, we'll be bringing in doctors and scientists from around the world, and the semi-skilled and skilled workforce will be expected to be picked up by Australians. Now, history shows that just does not happen. So there needs to be a balance in the approach by the government to ensure that all levels of migration are being met. All the job vacancies, of which there is a plethora, as we know, will be met. So the Ag visa is incredibly important, and I'm going to follow that up and ensure that the details are correct. But the report is that it is going ahead, and we need it to expand.
Yeah, you mentioned that it's an unskilled labour, you're saying. Would it need to be filled by Australians? We know from the horticulture industry it just doesn't happen. No,
not at all. Australians are not interested in working in horticulture or agriculture, and we want them to, but, it's the same with working in aged care and childcare. We need Aussies to work in those roles. Labor would say, well, let's just push the salaries up of those industries and they'll work there. We'll see whether that's the case. And if you're going to do that, salary has generally been attached to uniqueness of task, but also expertise and training and responsibility, the level of responsibility. It's why heart surgeons are paid a squillion and, others are not.
Yep, would have thought pushing up salaries is just going to add to the inflation rate, which is pretty bad at the moment, but we're running out of time. Yep. And Webster, thank you so much for joining us today on those important topics. So we'll catch you again soon.
Thanks so much, Ricky. Have a good day. Bye.